It's time for our big board. We're breaking down more of the morning's top stories. Let's start with a new lawsuit against SoulCycle, which raises the question, how hard is too hard at the gym? A woman here in New York is suing, claiming she had to go to the hospital after a strenuous first-time workout. Legal analyst Ariva Martin joining us this morning. Ariva, good morning. What can you tell us about this suit?
Basically, it's a personal injury lawsuit. This woman is claiming that on her very first time of going to SoulCycle, which is this high-intensity indoor cycling class, that she suffered very serious injuries. She's claiming the instructor knew it was her first time, but despite that, he increased the intensity on her bike. She became ill, had to be hospitalized for 1 week, and now she's claiming permanent muscular injuries, and she's seeking personal injury damages.
So she says that she was permanently injured, Ariva. Does she have a case, or is this just a case of people need to know their own limits and when to dial it back?
This is going to be a very difficult case for her to prove. First, there's the issue of causation. She has to prove that her injuries are related to that high-intensity workout. And next, there's the issue of waiver. In most cases, when you go to a gym or you take one of these classes, you sign a release of liability, a waiver, which prohibits you from suing the gym. So, very important lesson for anyone taking this class and joining any gym. Read the fine print, because you may be giving up your rights to a lawsuit even if you're injured, and in some cases, if you die from a workout.
Read the fine print, Ariva. Great advice. Okay, next up, the story of your parent is going to give you chills. United Airlines is under fire after a 12-year-old flying solo from Des Moines, Iowa, to visit her grandparents in Houston, that's about 800 miles, was left unattended in the airport upon her arrival. And Steve Ganyard is here with more. Okay, so Steve, you know, some people that live far away from family, they're forced to, you know, pay this $300 round trip fee to accompany the minor. This is every parent's worst nightmare. What happened?
It really is, Paul. You think about it, you're giving up your child, you're losing control, they're flying someplace else, you're handing them over to a stranger. In this case, as you say, paying $300 extra for the privilege of doing that. Thankfully, in this case, the grandmother found the child, just happened to look down a hallway and found the child, so it had a happy ending. But, you know, the airlines will actually take your money, but sometimes they will outsource the person that's going to take care of your child. So you're really losing control at two separate points here. It never should have happened.
Yeah, it's infuriating. United Airlines told ABC News in a statement, "We're in touch with the family and have apologized for their experience. We are continuing to review the situation to ensure that we provide exceptional service to each of our customers." Steve, this is not the first time something like this has happened. So what should airlines be doing better, and what should parents be doing better?
Well, it's a real black eye, obviously, for United, and they're going to have to go back and look at their procedures. This is something that no airline wants on their record. But there are some things that parents can do. The first thing you'd want to do is look at the weather. If there's snow, if there's thunderstorms somewhere around the country, even if it's where your child's not going, it may have a cascading effect on delays across the country. The other thing you can look at is the time of day. Oftentimes delays happen later on in the day. You know, if one flight's late, it has that cascading effect. So try to schedule an early flight if you can. And the other thing is just be a good parent and do some diligence on the airline. Look at the airline that you're putting that child on and make sure that they haven't had a problem in the past with these sorts of missing children.
Steve Ganyard, thank you. Now to tennis great Serena Williams. In an interview with ESPN, she is sparking a real debate on the role of gender in sports. Take a listen.
Being a woman is just a whole new set of problems from society that you have to deal with as well. If I were a man, I would have 100% been considered the greatest ever long time ago.
All right, so let's bring in Christine Brennan. Christine, good morning. Does she have a point here? Would she have been considered the greatest ever a long time ago? And is there a double standard in sports when it comes to gender?
Dan, absolutely she does. Yes, there's a double standard. Think about it. We always say women's tennis or women's golf, but do we say men's golf? Do we say during March Madness? We say women's basketball. We don't say men's basketball. There are two. It's not just one tournament. There are two. We should use that pesky adjective men's as well. And also Simone Biles, the gymnast this year, Katie Ledecky. We don't say women's swimmer or women's gymnast, but somehow we do affix that label. It's a great conversation for the nation to have in our culture, and I'm glad she's bringing it up.
And the pay disparity is a whole nother issue when it comes to men versus women. But Christine, as Serena's career winds down, what do you think her legacy is going to be?
I think, Paula, she's not only the greatest women's tennis player ever and one of the greatest tennis players, period. I actually think she is the greatest female athlete to play any sport in history. I think she's that dominant at the most difficult and competitive time in the history of women's tennis, or tennis in particular. She has been so dominant, and when she only wins one Grand Slam tournament, as she did this year, it's somehow a disappointment. In her mid-30s, she is still just as great as there is, and I think, again, at this competitive time, for her to be on top of her game, I think the greatest female athlete in any sport we have ever seen.
Oh, that's high praise right there. Real quick, all three of you, your greatest athlete of all time. Ariva, let's start with you.
Paula, I love Serena, but I'd have to go with Muhammad Ali.
There you go. Steven.
I'm a Serena fan as well, but Michael Jordan's going to get my nod.
There you go. And Christine, you're sticking with Serena?
Well, I'll go with Serena, but I'll say in history, Jesse Owens, the way he defied Adolf Hitler at the Olympics in Berlin and what he stood for as a great athlete, but also as such a historic figure at that important time before World War II.
Paula, what's your take?
I have a couple.
Okay. That's kind of cheating, but
yes,
sure.
Muhammad Ali,
Yeah.
Michael Phelps, think also. Dan Harris is my number 3.
Yes, I am a
Dan's
thoroughbred.
really good at badminton.
Pretty much nothing. I'm going to go, by the way, with
Thanks,
Muhammad
y'all.
Ali.